Hi everyone, today we're going to learn how to crochet the Tunisian Simple Stitch. This stitch is actually also called the Afghan stitch or the basic stitch. This Afghan word keeps coming up again and again, and I must say I really like it. In the simple stitch we need to do a chain and a foundation row, and then we do forward and backward passes, never turning our work over, so it's always facing up at us. Sometimes your Tunisian simple stitch might curl and it may only need blocking, but often it will rectify itself if you are sewing it to or crocheting it to other pieces or putting a border around. Before we start our Tunisian square, you need to choose your hook size. So I have an 8-ply cotton here, and what you do is it's as easy as this. Divide the 8 by 2, which gives you 4, then add 2, which gives you 6. So I'll be using my 6mm Tunisian hook. Now there are times when that will have to change. Just say your tension is too tight, so you'll need to increase your hook size, or your tension's too loose, you need to decrease your hook size. And it does also depend on the yarn that you're using and the type of project that you are making. If you want the project to be really loose and flowy, you might want a slightly bigger Tunisian hook. But this is the basics that we start with, okay? Dividing your yarn number by 2. Say this was a 10-ply, I would divide it by 2 to get 5, then I would add 2 to get 7 for my Tunisian hook. Easy. Okay, we're going to do 19 chain because the loop on the hook at the moment is considered 1. So we only want 19 to make 20 all up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now that's the front of the chain with the V's on the top, and we're going to use this back bump at the back of the chain. So popping your hook into the back bump, pulling up your yarn and leaving it on the hook. So that's 2 stitches already. Now into that back bump, make sure it's the right one, pulling up a loop, and that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now we have 20 loops on our hook. So this time on the left hand side, I firm up my work a little bit. We yarn over and we pull through 1 stitch and we leave it as that. Okay, that's the only time that we go through 1 stitch. Then we yarn over and we go through 2. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, 2, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2. Once you get used to doing this, you'll find you'll get quite speedy at it, and it's a really nice calming motion. I really like it. It is for me a cross between crochet and knit. Through 2, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2, and yarn over through 2. Now what we have developed here is vertical bars on the top at the front. So we're not going to use the first one, we're going to go straight into the second one. So you pop your hook under that vertical bar, going from the right to the left. Pick up yarn, pull it through, and there you leave it on your hook. And we go again, pulling yarn through, leaving on your hook, pulling yarn through, leaving on your hook. So this is our forward pass again. I'm going to make this into one green little square. I've got a bunch of cotton here that I'd really love to use up, so I think I might make a little boy's blanket. What I will do today is show you how to do the Tunisian Simple Stitch only, and then I will show you what we can do with the Simple Stitch simply by changing colours. You don't need to change the technique at all. It's just when to use the different colours that gives it a whole other effect. Okay, now we're at the end. Now at the end you need to turn it over and you will see that there are 2 stitches there. So you need to go under 2 stitches. Here we are there. Pull your loop through, and that is it for that row. Bit hard to see yet. We'll see more soon. So yarn over, pulling through that one loop and leaving that one on its own. That becomes the 2 stitches that we need to go through. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and 2, yarn over and 2, yarn over and 2, yarn over and 2. Once we've done a few rows and you can see how gorgeous this stitch is, you might even get addicted to it as well. And 2 and the final 2. Okay, so we're not going through that very last stitch, it gets left there. We start in the second stitch, popping our hook under that vertical bar, pulling a loop through. Now this work of mine here, I would say is quite loose, but I'm going to leave it that way because I want the little blanket to be drapey. I don't want it to be firm, especially being in this cotton that takes some time to soften up. So I'm going through all the vertical bars all the way along. Now we're at that end, and the 2, it's very difficult to show you. The 2 stitches from the last stitch that was made there. See how I popped my hook under those 2 stitches? Take that out. It goes right in there. Pull up a loop and pull through. Yarn over, pull through 1 and leave it on its own. Yarn over, pull through 2. So when you are on your L plates, as I really still am here, I believe, you really need to keep an eye on your work, because if you go through 3, you're doing a decrease and it is very noticeable. It's not like you can hide it. You have to pull it undone and start afresh. So we've got to keep our mind on going through 2. Yarn over, pull 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 through 2. Now, we're starting to get a little bit of the pattern happen down here. It won't be long. Righto, let's do our next forward pass. Firming up our first stitch, going under that 2nd vertical bar. Now 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so on. I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here we are to our last stitch. We need to go through this little hole here. So you've got 2 stitches on the left and 1 stitch on the right. You need to go through the center, pulling up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 1. Yarn over, pull through 2. I think at the end of this row, I'll count to make sure I've still got the same amount of stitches. I'm learning to do that more and more often. It just prevents from frogging so much work. Okay, let's see. I will do it as we do our forward pass. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and through our last stitch, which is 20. That's excellent. Excellent to hear. Okay, going through the loop on the end, now going through 2. There we go. That's looking a whole lot better now. I'll show you the Tunisian Simple Stitch. It almost looks like a knit in a way, and I really, really like that. That's the back. This is the front. Now you'll find that it will curl up, and that is completely normal. It does it more with some yarns than others. It will all work out in the end when the squares are joined together and when there's a border on it. That helps. So I'm going to go off now and do a few more rows, and I'll come back and show you then. Now let's measure out this little square to see where we're at. So this is 26 centimeters by 24 and a half, no, 25. So that would be perfect actually. We're a smidge off the 26. So our finishing row will take us to 26. Now casting off our Tunisian work is just like knitting. So we go through our vertical bar, pull your yarn through, and then pull it through that loop on the hook. Through the vertical bar, pull up a loop, pull it through, and straight through that loop on your hook. Through the vertical bar, pull up your loop, and through the loop on your hook. So it's nice and easy. You can actually do it all in one motion if you really want to, like that. That makes it easy. Now I counted out these rows, and as it turns out, we did 20 chains in width, and this has finished up to be the correct size with 20 rows. So I wonder, does that happen all the time with Tunisian crochet? We will have to see, won't we? Pulling it through both the loops. Okay, we're coming up towards the end of our square. It gets a little bit tricky here. Again, you just need to take notice of where those vertical bars are. Sometimes they get tiny and hidden away like this one. Okay, so we need to get our hook into that one, pull the yarn through, and then we go into the very last one with 2 loops on the side. And done. Okay, I'm going to snip that off and we're going to darn our yarn ends in neatly. Okay. Pull that through. See how the back develops quite a thick fabric. So there'll be quite some warmth underneath Tunisian crochet. Now we're heading back to the end. And then we'll do our bottom one as well. Now we'll do the bottom one as we go. It's such a blessing when you finish your squares and you don't have all those ends to darn in. Sometimes they can break a person. There we go, that'll do, because once we join these squares to other squares, that'll be nice and secure. Now that hasn't curled too much at all, just a tiniest little bit. That's great. Now I'm going to make this into a little boy's baby blanket. I have other cotton that I need to use up, quite a scrappy amount, except for the green, I've got lots of that. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how we can change this up a little bit instead of just doing it all plain. Don't get me wrong, I love it all plain and it could just be squares of single colour, but I want to mix it up a little bit. So meet me on my next video, we'll see what we're going to do. I hope that you really enjoyed learning how to make this Tunisian Simple Square, and thanks so much for being here with me doing it. I will see you all again in the next video very soon. Bye for now.